is that? Look at that butt.
Just a butt.
I want to hear the audio for this.
Yeah, dude, there's no audio.
There is. Oh my God. Look at him.
Really start.
For 1 second. Yeah.
It's so hard to make things sometimes, you know? It just takes so much mental energy. I get so tired. I just want to sit here and relax with you.
This is the kind of shit that gets made by some sweet fellas that took too much ketamine. All right, Jesus Christ.
Beautiful.
It's insane. Are you
All
ready
right.
for this, Dale?
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay.
You ready? All right, let's do it. You ready? Lock eyes.
Doing
Lock
the.
eyes.
Okay.
3,
5, 9, 8,
4,
7,
6,
2.
1. Welcome to another episode.
Let's do it at the same time again. I like
you
it.
do it again?
Okay.
All right, you ready? Look. 6.
Welcome.
Oh, that part?
Times.
Okay, you ready?
Okay, we're doing the
All
welcome
right,
part.
yeah.
Okay.
You want to do it?
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right, look at me in the eyes.
Okay.
All right, you ready? Huh?
Welcome
to another episode
Oh, yeah.
of-
Let's do it again. All right. So.
Welcome to another episode of Huff and Brown.
And let's do one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was. I think that was too bad. I think that fucking
That
sucks.
was
Good,
great.
man.
No,
It's
it was
been a
awesome.
long day. It's been a long day.
Yeah, it has.
Man, well, David Brown is the man we have on the couch today.
David Brown.
David
I'm excited to be here.
Motherfucking Brown. And no,
That's
we're
right.
not related or all.
And we have two Browns on the show right now.
We do.
We do.
Spencer Brown?
We're Huff and double Brown today.
That's right.
We're,
Oh
we're double brown.
We should have had some double fudge brownies for the show.
Ah, shit.
Dude, that's for
You're
later.
right.
They're in the oven. Don't worry. We ate
They're in
tacos
the
earlier.
oven.
You know, David, you're an accomplished vocalist. I mean,
Oh yes.
that's
I mean,
Yeah.
Grammy nominated, if I'm not wrong.
Multiple Grammys.
You are-
I'm pretty sure he's been nominated.
you are
Yeah.
really you're really
I turned him
good.
down. I
You're-
said no. I said
Yeah.
I wasn't interested.
You said nah.
They said, take that shit and get out of my fucking face.
But not only are you a great vocalist, but also your brother's a cool dude. I kind of like your
Andy.
brother more than you.
That
sorry.
doesn't surprise me. Andy,
Yeah.
Andy is very likable. You
He's a
know?
like-
He may be
likable
the most likable Brown.
Yeah.
You know,
Out of all three of you Browns, he's
Really-
like the best one.
really endearing. He's got
He's
a
a nice
really
guy.
endearing face.
Yeah.
Like a boyish charm.
Like he
yeah,
means
yeah,
well.
he's got that smile.
Why don't you have that about you, David?
I'm hardened by life, you know.
Yeah,
I've
we
seen
some-
understand
I've seen some shit.
Sorry,
Yeah.
man.
Hell yeah! So how long have you been playing with your band? Did you start the band? You're an original member?
Yeah, me and Ryan. My friend Ryan. You know Ryan Petgill?
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and him were friends from being in other bands years ago, like when we played like heavier music. And we met because we were recording with the same guy in Atlanta. He was doing our records then. And I stopped playing. I left that band and then I started a new thing that was like totally different. And Ryan and I just kind of like stayed in contact though. We just stayed like buddies. And I was looking to move to Los Angeles at one point, but then long story short, I ended up moving it to Nashville instead because Ryan was like, "Hey, dude, I've got a room open. Like, you know,
You got
why
a
don't you
place
come
to
over
stay.
here?"
Why the
Yeah.
fuck would you go to L.A.? And
Yeah, I was like, I don't have any friends in
struggle your nuts
LA. Yeah, and I'm like, I'm not trying to pay like a super high inflated like rent. You know, I know like things were, and I also was like in my early 20s, so I was like, I don't know shit about living on my own.
Yeah, and you're close to
away
home.
from my family and friends. Yeah, so it was definitely scary. So it was a much less scary thing moving to Nashville because I already had a buddy, but I was also ready to just get out and be there and do my thing. You know, I was ready to. So I came to Nashville and just planted my roots here. You know, and I was like,
Definitely.
I'm just making music here now.
I mean, that makes sense. It's closer to where you grew up to, and it's still, I mean, it's a fucking music town, undeniably. I mean, L.A. is too, but I don't know if I could handle that. I've never been out there, but I don't know if
Yeah.
that's a scene for me or not.
It's fun. There's like things about it that are fun, and then there's also things about it that are, that are upsetting. Like same thing for Nashville. You could say some terrible things, and you could say some really great things, but LA definitely has its own vibe. It's definitely got like its cool points. But if you don't like, tons of traffic and potholes everywhere and buildings made
What,
in the 80s.
you talking about Nashville, dude?
Yeah.
For real, dude.
That's true.
What's your favorite venue in town in Nashville?
In Nashville,
That's a good question.
oh, my favorite, like, just favorite, like, in terms of ones I've been to or ones I've
Well, I don't
played.
know. That's like
I would say do one of both. What's your favorite place to go see a show,
Uh-huh.
and what's your favorite place to play a show? And I'm not saying
Okay.
and leave out like Bridgestone and Ryman right now because
Yeah, I honestly, I've been to like one show at the Ryman, and it was incredible. But it's like it's a different beast, and I would not prefer to see my favorite band play at the Ryman personally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need it to be okay. Exit In is my favorite venue. It really is because it sounds so good, and it's like it's the right.
go hear music at or to play
Yeah,
at?
no.
Yeah.
Well, okay. That's a different answer. That's a different question. But my favorite venue to go see bands probably would be Exit In.
I'd agree.
Because I hear everything, and the room is really set up for it, and everyone's like in this pit. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know. I like that.
Yeah.
That's what I like. Probably my favorite venue in town is the War Memorial Auditorium.
Yeah, dude.
War Memorial Auditorium.
Yeah.
I've never been there.
No,
Dude,
bro.
it's- for like a structure, like it's just so fucking cool looking.
Yeah, it's up there is it by the Capitol building that it's next to? It's up
Yeah,
kind of close to the courthouse and stuff, but it's like an old building, like theater.
You wouldn't
there's
think
a
it'd be
balcony at the top, and the bottom's just a big pit floor. Stage is about maybe chest high, and it's just like a nice theater. I saw Mars Volta there, and it
Nice.
sounded good. I saw Marilyn Manson there too, and it
Oh,
was nice.
dude, nice.
Definitely the spot.
Hell
All right,
yeah.
Dale. So, you got some questions, don't you, Dale?
But I was gonna say my favorite place to play.
Okay,
Which
never
was
mind.
different, but it doesn't matter.
Fuck off, Dale.
Dale, go fuck yourself.
Well, no, wait. I want to know your favorite
Yeah,
place to play.
yeah, I definitely.
I'm,
would.
I'm curious.
I would say
I forgot
it's
about the second half of
probably,
that question.
The basement, because I can hear things very well there. It's because it's a small room, and it's what I'm like really comfortable playing.
It's almost too small, though.
You're right; it is almost too small. But I mean, when we play shows there, it's like we bring a little crowd, and the room feels fuller.
Feels
Yeah.
huge playing.
Yeah, and it feels and having the bodies there like that also kind of helps soak up some of the sound, especially some of the stage sound. So you can kind of crank the amps a little bit, but I can still hear the vocals. Like they really have it nailed down for that room. I just love playing there. I want to play there
Dude,
again.
there's something about like having like it could be a 20 by 20 room, but if it's packed, like people are packed in there and you're playing like music, like it feels good.
Yeah, house shows are some of the coolest shows that I've ever played, especially back when I was playing metal bands and stuff.
Yeah.
There's one place. It was a basement venue, and it just used to get fucking crazy in there.
Yeah.
because kids would come out from all over that area, and you'd end up having 75, 80 kids in a fucking basement, fucking slamming.
Yeah, it's
You're
fun.
like, dude. That's insane. That's fun. Dale, do you have a question you wanted to ask?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, well, I just want to know.
these are all the weirdest videos.
I know. I keep looking up at the TV, and being
on the
like, what the
weirdest shit
fuck is
today,
going
for
on?
sure.
What's the name of this video?
I think you just put in like weird videos,
Freaky
right?
Freaky
Soup Guy.
All right, we're gonna
13
post.
years ago.
We're gonna post a link to this video.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
we're
gonna
tagged
let you
this.
know what we're seeing right now. Freaky Suit
What
Guy.
the
It's kind of terrifying, dude.
It's really scary.
This is like a fetish, maybe.
Probably.
Well, you just
It
see
looks
a
like he's
man. You
crying.
see a man with his eyes with a black bar across, like it's censored out, and he's got like a long mixing
Oh, there's
spoon,
another one.
There's another
crying, eating cereal, and these two fucking like those
Puppet-
Burger
puppet
Boy
guys.
looking with no nose and no face or no mouth, just 2 eyes. It's very creepy.
They're petting
This
him.
is gonna haunt my dreams.
It's very
Sounds like-
messed up.
Yeah, this is weird. That's kind of
Cool, this is good times.
I'm glad
Yeah.
that video changed.
We'll post a link. We'll show everybody
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna
what
haunt
we're
your
getting
dreams
ourselves
now
into.
because of that. Okay.
Okay, that's terrifying.
All right.
That will also haunt my dreams tonight.
That will. So Dale, do you have any
So,
questions?
yeah. So David,
Yeah.
man, I know a lot of people in the Nashville area that tour, and it seems like it's either very cyclical, where they tour the summer and they do all their releases in the summer, and then they kind of hang out during the winter, or they're nonstop touring all the time. And I feel like you kind of have a mix of those two. And also the line of work that you're in allows you to do kind of medium length runs without sacrificing, your day job and your daily activities.
Oh yeah.
It's
That's a
it's
good
not
question.
like an all or nothing thing. You kind of seem to have a good blend of the two lifestyles going on. And
Yeah.
I want to know how that works for you.
Well, it's a lot of fun. I will say I love it, and I wish I could honestly do it all the time. But we're not a big band by any means, So we're like still just doing like the grassroots things. We're playing a couple different cities, like you would play your Nashville, like you would play your hometown. I mean, you play the best show you can, but I mean, you're really going there to like, connect with people, and it's actually really cool because when that happens is like you start to see that other bands are wanting to do the same thing. They want to get out and play another city, and you're like, well, come on, like you can play in my hometown or whatever, and then we'll go show you to our friends in Cincinnati, and you guys do your own thing together. It's like you connect people, and it's like
when you like go back like after like doing a show there, I mean, have a good experience there, and then you go back for the second time and people there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's I have friends there, and I really do love dearly that I'm like stoked on seeing again. But I'm sorry, I don't know if I've like digressed too far from your question, but balancing tour and work. I mean, it's not that expensive to tour once you have like the van and like you guys are willing to just like rough it for a night or two, and you just go on like a run for like 2 or 3 days, and you just get used to sleeping on couches and floors, and then all of a sudden it's like people give you beds sometimes or whatever, or if you figured out a sleeping situation in your van, it's even better.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But it's like it's not that expensive. You just have to pay the gas to get there, and that might be $100. So like if you budget amongst a couple people like $200 or $300, you can go tour, but then you start to get to the point where it's like, okay, now we're just going to these cities to burn cash because it's fun, and then you're like, well, how do we get people to our show? And then that's where the gig starts to change. It's like you start to realize
it's like an investment. Like you'll have like 2 runs where you go to some city like Lexington or something like that, and it might like suck for the first 2 times, but after those first 2 shows, you have a place to stay, and you're making more money just doing that. I don't know.
How much, for the people listening that may not, have ever done this, how much money do you think collectively you guys have put into your band to get you where you are, to get you, gas, everything you've invested?
Man.
What do you think your total investment
Well, I was keeping
ballpark?
track of it, like penny. Oh, what the fuck is on the TV? Jesus.
Hey, we're having a
You're right. You're
conversation
right.
here,
I'm
David.
sorry. I'm just sorry. That was so
Is this
bizarre.
distracting you?
Yes.
This is Asian
I can't look
ER,
at that.
dude.
God,
This is
no,
Asian.
We should.
That
Oh
is
my god! What is
insane.
that?
No, thank you.
Looks like she has
I
a
mean,
mushroom
they
growing
did a
out
really
of her.
great job. What is
Oh
going
my!
on?
What? 1, 2.
What on earth? Who thinks of this shit?
David, stay on
I'm
topic
sorry.
here.
Okay, so what were we? We're talking about.
Yeah, how much money do you think Sweettalker has invested
Oh,
to
my God.
over the years? Because it's like that's what you're
Dude,
talking about.
honestly-
You're constantly putting money in it, though.
Yeah, well, it's like you always will. You have to like feed the machine. You know what I mean? It's like it requires money in order to like put some out. You just have to like. So we've been like a band like 2.5 years, and we started doing stuff before the band officially started. You know what I mean? So we started like maybe January 1 of 2016, but we were working on it the summer previous to that. Like we were recording,
Preparing for it.
yeah, and we had the music video done before we launched. So we're like definitely in a 3-year period at this point in terms of like, oh, this is the thing we're doing. But
How do you guys?
dude, I mean like $20,000 or $30,000 at this point. But not all of it was spent wisely. Some of it was spent on like PR companies that didn't pan out, or it was spent on like a management person that was like they did a few things but they didn't do a lot. And that's not saying that all management companies that we've worked with haven't done well. Like we've paid the company that helped us initially start, my friend Nathan, he got me like lined up with his company called AGD or whatever, and they kind of like got us in the right direction, you know.
Definitely.
And then we got the ball rolling, and then we started figuring things out for ourselves, that's the real trick with music. It's like if you're not learning new things about the trade that you're in, then you are falling behind, or you're not doing enough, you know what I mean, to like to make yourself as efficient and, you know, make your shit worthwhile, you know what I mean? Like that goes to like learning how to write songs and like your scales and shit like that, and also learning the business. It's like that's why it's a constant grind. Like I literally buy courses on the internet learning how to do things, like how to figure out, like I've like on how to like market my own music, and then I've also spent money on like things like courses on learning how to like get into this TV sync world and you know, like there's all kinds of things that you have to like learn and know how to do. And it's just even having like the topical knowledge to be able to just barely talk about it gives you an advantage, because it says, I don't know enough about this, but I do know that I need someone to do this for me, or this needs to happen for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
But I think there's a lot to be said for the do-it-yourself, man.
oh, DIY. You have to do it DIY now. You have to do it all yourself before you even start, before you can hire somebody else to come in and do it for you.
Before somebody will take you seriously and
Right.
even be like, yeah, I can work with this.
Mm-hmm.
So would you rather be an artist or a just like paid musician? You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, it's artist all the way for sure. Like, paid musician is cool, and I've even like started teaching myself more and more and more, so I could potentially put myself down that path if I decide to do it one day.
Yeah.
I want to have the option. I also just want to be a better player, right?
Right.
The art part of it is a totally different thing. It's like the drive. I've tried to quit making music before in my life, and it did not do well for me. Like,
Yeah.
I was like miserable and crazy. I have no purpose, no drive. It was like a different person. And so I know that like, and also like when I listen to my own music, and I don't do it very often, it's only when it's just finished, I'll think about it and think about it and think about it. And then I'll get bored with it, and I want to impress myself, and then that doesn't last very long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get bored with yourself. So I'm just like, all right, I got to do something cooler. I've got to do something better than this, you know?
Yeah.
What kind of genre, like what kind of style do you say you guys go for? Because I mean, I've listened to all of your stuff, and it's not necessarily all over the place, but it doesn't all sound the same.
Oh yeah, it definitely doesn't. And even the new record that we're doing right now is not even. It does, like the songs are on there are also a little different from each other in certain ways. Sorry, I'm burping in the beer.
Miller Lite.
That's right.
It says resealable, man.
I would say that. So I just should call us rock, but it's a very generic term
It's
because
very broad.
yeah, it is. I like to listen. I like to write songs that sound like the newest thing that I currently love. I'm like just kind of like borrowing from people. You know what I mean? So like I just wrote the last song that I wrote for the new album is the most different song on the record, but I borrowed, it's a sweet guitar riff, and I borrowed it from Billy Joel. It's not anything like it at all the same, but it's the vibe, the feeling that I stole. You know what I mean?
More like a groove.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's more of a groove.
Well, it's like the groove too is different. You know what I mean? But it's like it's kind of like still has a similar idea.
How do you guys write?
Well, so like Ryan wrote one of the songs on the album all by himself, and he sings it on the record too, and it's so good. It's really great. Ryan's a really good singer too. He's got so much character, you know. But somebody just usually writes something like a chorus and a verse, or maybe just a chorus, or even just a riff. You bring it to the practice room, jam it out, maybe see if some ideas flesh out from the room, and then either I or Ryan will complete it from there. You know, we'll like keep working on it, and we'll keep talking about it, and you know.
I'm always curious about that process because
it's
that's
like
my favorite way
somebody,
to write.
Somebody gets
how
the
they
thing
do it.
started, and everybody chips in, and like
Yeah.
and then you don't stop changing it. Like there was a time in the studio we tracked pretty much one of the new songs the entire way, except for vocals and like strings, of course, and like the extra stuff. But like band wise, it was all done, and the producer who's doing this record. Was like the song is just in the wrong key. Like it's just like not even close. Like we can't like there's like tricks you can do and like where you can pitch the whole track down just a couple notches or whatever. And it doesn't sound bad or like any different really. But the song was like just in the total wrong key.
yeah,
Oh shit.
And so we were like, sometimes you just have to make tough calls, and we're like, all right, fuck it, scrap everything. We're retracking everything right now. We're gonna get the song done, and we did. But it took us until 7 a.m.
Yeah, and after you've already done it once, one way, you're like, God damn it, here we go again.
Yeah,
You can keep the drums, I guess, but everything
But
else you got to change.
I think it's better
We have to do
next time around.
that with
sometimes.
Dale a lot. Actually, yeah, we have to fix Dale stuff a lot. It's
Yeah, he's
very
just a
very
garbage-
time consuming.
Garbage player.
Yeah.
Probably what takes up most of my time, my free time, is spent correcting Dale's mistakes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty understandable. I mean, look at him. What
yeah.
can you expect, really?
Honestly, dude. All right, let's play a little this or that, because that's probably our favorite thing to do and go to around here. Thanks, Dale. Dude,
Oh,
Dale
Dale.
bringing us beer. Hey, you
Hey,
know
man,
what?
I take-
you
you
didn't.
know-
you
you know,
know,
I
you're
take
not a
everything
bad
back.
guy.
It
dude.
is.
I don't
So-
care what they say about you, Dale. You're all right. You know what I mean?
So here at Huff and Brown, David, we like to play a little game called This or That, and it's where we're going to give you two things, and you're going to pick one of them. It's simple enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. What topic should we do? What is it? Huff, give me a topic.
How about animals?
Animals?
Yeah, just
All right,
like
dude.
do you like a giraffe or a lion? Which one do you like better?
A giraffe or a lion?
Yeah,
A lion.
All right, a hawk or an eagle?
A hawk.
All right.
why?
Because it seems more... An eagle seems a little too proud, and a hawk feels a little more cunning.
Yeah,
It feels more like...
he's low key. He's
he's a
chilling.
little more low key, but he's still just as aggressive.
Yeah.
And he maybe has a little edge to him. You know what I mean? He's flying under the radar, but he's gonna kick your ass.
The eagle might just be a little too cocky.
Exactly. He's just showing off too much.
Did your guys'
Everybody's looking at
dads
him.
like when you were like younger and you're driving somewhere and he's like, "Whoa, look at that hawk." That's like a really dad thing.
Yeah,
I feel like.
yeah, and mom. My mom always would point out
Whoa,
hawks.
look at the hawk.
Look at that hawk over there in that tree. Wow. Oh, you see the wingspan on that beauty?
Look, that's a hawk. Yeah.
All right, how about this? Dolphins or whales?
Dolphins.
All right.
Easy.
Turtles. Nah, just turtles.
Worms or caterpillars?
Caterpillars, dude.
I'm going worm.
Why?
Worms. I'm going worms.
I'm going worm.
Why?
Because you go fishing with them.
Yeah, I'm gonna say worms too. Caterpillars kind of freak me out. I don't like the hair.
Yeah, fuzzy
long-
caterpillars.
No thanks,
fuck
bro.
I like
Even as a kid, I let them crawl on me, and I was like, "Oh, it's fine," but God, that's gross.
I like me a fuzzy. I can't even say it. I like me a fuzzy caterpillar.
All right. Would you rather
Dude, dogs or cats?
cats, dude.
Cats, dude.
I like cats,
Dogs.
but
You fuck ass.
I like dogs a lot too. Cats are definitely more low key, and I very much appreciate that about them. They take care of themselves.
Exactly.
They
That's
do.
I
why
will say
like
they're
them.
more efficient, but dogs will love you like nobody else.
Cats hate you, but dogs love you. But cats, like, just, like,
Are smarter, maybe.
They're smarter, I think.
They're
Yeah.
more self-sufficient.
Well, they have different behaviors. I wouldn't say they're
Yeah,
smarter.
they're more self-sufficient. That's what they
Yeah,
are.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Self-sustaining.
In the domesticated environment, they
they're
do
like, here's
better.
where you shit, and they know that for the rest of their life.
Yeah, they're like, cool, this is where I
Some
shit.
humans don't even know that.
Yeah, much Seth still hasn't figured
Seth?
it out.
I can't
Talking to
figure it
you,
out,
buddy.
dude. I
Yeah.
don't know where to go poop.
All right, David, you've toured quite a bit. You got to have some crazy road stories. What's the most memorable, fucked up, this weird road story you can think of, or like the night that like you guys will never forget?
Lay it on
Oh
us.
my god! Well,
Give it to
there
us.
was nothing like the first tour that I ever went on, which was when I was a little kid. I was like in my teens. I'm trying to think of like a more recent one. See if there's like a cooler one. There's always a story. Every night's it's full of its own like,
What first comes to mind?
Yeah, what-
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is the time one of the first tours I went on. I was like probably 18, maybe 17, and we were driving. I was playing in this heavy band, and we were in this old van, and we're in Tennessee, coming down the hills, and all of a sudden, the guy who's driving the van, he was the merch guy. He was like stomping on the brakes, and he couldn't slow down. He was like, "Oh shit, the brakes are not working." So he's just like, we were like, "Oh fuck, what's gonna happen?" And so he just like crunches the brakes all the way in. I'm guessing the fucking like, I don't know, the calipers are completely just grabbing the rotor, right? So we come to a halt on the side of the road, and there was like smoke coming out of the front part of the van. We're like, "Oh crap!" And we're just a bunch of kids, So we pop open the hood and we look in there like we're gonna just figure it out. Like let's look in there. Maybe we'll see something.
Yeah, it looks like a car.
It looks like it's broken. It's smoking.
This is what Dad does, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, looks broken. I'm gonna call Johnny.
That's right. So we look in there, and then this guy who was playing guitar, he was like, "Oh shit! Oh my god, it's on fire!" And we all just like fucking run down the hill even farther. This is like a steep incline hill, and we're like halfway down it. Okay, I'll tell you. I'll get to it. We run down the hill. We're all like freaking the fuck out. We're like, "Oh shit! Like the van is going to blow up any moment now."
So did you just leave it running and it just?
No, it was turned off, but it was still smoking. We were like, so we stand there and wait for it to blow up, and we're like, okay, it's not going to blow up. So someone's got to be brave enough to get it back up there and see what's going on. This deer, what the fuck?
David, on topic. We're doing a podcast.
Sorry, I'm
this is
sorry.
here for my entertainment.
That's some great
You've been
entertainment.
watching it, too. You've just been, like, stone-eyed.
Anyway,
That
so
thing. Yeah.
we finally get brave enough to go back up there, and we're like, someone's like, okay, we have to get the van down the hill because we can't do anything. We don't have any money for a tow truck. We're just gonna have to like just go. So we get back in the van. Some of us are scared to get back in, myself included. So I stay out along with a couple other people, and the guy who originally saw Art, who saw the van was on fire, decided to just drive it down the hill.
While it was on fire.
No, I'm sorry. So I forgot to mention, we come back up there and we pour it out. We poured it out with like this jug of water that we miraculously had in the van. There was just like a jug of water. Terrible at telling stories.
No,
Dude,
you're good,
dude.
dude. And it wasn't a jug of water; it was a jug of piss. It was real
No,
piss.
that's like we almost all died. You know what I mean? Like you could have all died. in
Well,
that
maybe.
scenario.
I mean, who knows? But anyway, so we get back in the van. We drive down the fucking hill. Or they drive down the hill. And then we're like, oh, shit. So it's working again. The van is on, and it's fine, I guess. So we all run down the hill to catch up with the fucking van. It's like, I don't know, a tenth of a
God.
mile. It was it was so stupid. We get back in the van, and we start driving again. And all of a sudden, I'm like looking down And then all of a sudden, everyone starts screaming, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And I look up, and the entire windshield is black, and I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Oh my god!
And
dude.
like, somebody opens up the door and is like looking out to try and tell him where to drive because we're in traffic. And he's like, "All right, pull over. You're clear. We can get out. We can get out." And I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" And I couldn't tell, but it just looked like it was the hood had flipped up.
I just like the image of you guys running down the hill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just imagine these like 17, 18-year-olds in a fucking metal band, just like not knowing dick about cars or anything, and they're just out there with this smoked out fucking car, and they get in the smoked out car, and then the hood just flies up.
At
People
this
in the
time-
hills of Tennessee are like, "God damn, what the hell's going on
Yeah.
here? These boys are rowdy."
He's got a damn boy.
Yeah, it was
It's
crazy.
Dawsonville from Dawsonville.
But yeah, it was some fuckery, you know. So the van caught on fire and the hood like, you know, flopped up and freaked us the fuck out. It was crazy. I didn't know it was the hood at first. I thought it was like smoke. I thought it was like black smoke. I was like,
So
what the fuck is going on?
I'm gonna guess that van didn't make it the last leg of the tour.
No, it actually did. So we took it back home, and it was because the brake lines were like, they were cracked, and the brake fluid leaked out all over the brake pads, and it's flammable. And so the dummy who was driving the van, you know, was riding the brakes going down those hills instead of throwing it into like, you know, a lower gear or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh man, it sounds like the
And so they
band-
got so hot that they caught on fire from the brake fluid, and it was just
It sounds like the band that you guys beat at the Walton County Battle of the Bands got a little pissy.
Oh my
and
God.
might have done a little
Yeah,
work to your
dude.
brake lines.
Yeah.
That's kind of
Yeah.
what it sounds like to me. They're like,
They're
a
trying
damn
to sabotage
Sweettalker done beat us with that damn Black Magic song.
Dude, wouldn't that be so funny? Like if they're like they beat us at the Battle of Bands, we're gonna cut their brake,
We're
like we're gonna fucking kill
We
them.
wanted that $5,000 in the 48 hours of studio time
Damn.
at Big Bill's fucking
That'd be so funny.
Big
baller
Bill's
studio.
baller studio.
Yeah,
Big
dude.
Bill.
All right, let's talk about
Dancing.
Oh man.
yeah. Let's
Do
talk
people
about
dance at
dancing.
your shows? You know, this is a question I got
No.
for you. Moving on, do you think you're going to end every show the same way? You know, you've been ending your shows
No,
You
what
know
do
what I
you mean?
mean?
Like with the different song?
with the, you know, the "You Got a Friend in Me."
Ooh,
Well,
yeah.
I'm kind of curious the story behind that, man. I know, is that like sentimental to
the Toy
one
Story?
of you guys? Yeah, the Toy Story thing.
Oh no, we just like the song, and I love Toy Story.
You really just like that? So you guys are just big fans of Toy Story.
I'm actually a big fan of Randy Newman.
You got a friend in me.
Dude, you know what song fucking slaps from that movie? Is when he sings the song. It's like, stranger things will happen.
Oh, yeah.
to me. Dude, that song fucking
Ain't no
rules.
doubt. Oh wait, no.
No, it's when
strange things that happen
it's when
to
Buzz
me.
Lightyear is like, I am Mrs. Nesbit. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Well, this was just a build up to this question that I had to ask you, David. Mr. Potato Head or Rex?
Oh man.
Ain't no doubt about it. Mr. Potato Head, he's got so much personality. T-Rex, kind of a puss.
But he's got a big heart.
He does, but he got little arms.
Dildosaurus Rex, dude.
I like Rex, dude.
That is really his name.
I'm
That's his
a
full
Rex
name.
guy.
I
You're
mean,
a
I
Rex
liked
guy?
Rex. I mean, Mr. Potato Head was, you know, he's
He's also a classic
cool.
toy. Y'all have this on the strangest YouTube playlist.
Deal. Potato Head or Rex?
Rex, dude.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Dude, Rex fucking rules. Fuck you, David.
I know,
Hey,
fuck
don't
man.
talk to our guests like that, Seth.
That's
That's
right.
like exactly you're acting how you look right now. You look like the guy that sits at the pro shop at the fucking golf course and just yells at people and is like, "Hey, fuck you," you know what I mean, with no real constructive criticism. And people are like, "Hey, fuck you, dude. Why don't you get out on the links?" And you're like, "I got a bum elbow." And then you just like take a swig out of a brown bag. Nobody ever knows what you're
Dude,
drinking.
you look like the guy that just hangs out at the truck stop. Like, doesn't have to go there for Gatorade or anything. You just hang out
Like
there.
at the
That's
little
your fucking
restaurant
spot.
they have
Yeah.
at the Petro.
Yeah,
I
you
hang
just-
out at the Quick Skillet. You check me getting the 2-egg griddle at fucking 10 p.m. Extra toast.
I don't have a truck. I just like this place.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it comes up.
I'm
He goes,
saying,
"What you hauling, Hoss?" I'm like, "I don't know. A couple extra eggs on this plate I got coming."
I got a
Or-
key out back.
Or like the guy that just, Denny's every day, like no matter
Denny's
what.
every day. Well, you look like the guy that goes to the truck stop just to take a shower, and you're still not a trucker. Like you go to do laundry at the laundromat, and then like the tokens from the truck stop, fucking,
Okay.
the showers just fall out, dude.
What's David look like?
Kurt Cobain's, chromosome efficient fucking cousin.
David, you got your hair is growing out really good though. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest. You know what I
Thank
mean?
you, Sam.
I'm trying to be nice today. You know what I mean? You guys are all
I'm
being
You just
feeling
said
it.
"fuck you" to our guest.
Yeah, I know. But
He's
like,
turning a new leaf, though. He's
Yeah,
he's
I'm turning
around.
over new.
Yeah, that
leaf.
was a second ago. You're right.
That was a
That
minute
was
ago.
a second ago. He's a different person now. He's changed. He's better now.
You look like Kurt Cobain's like cousin.
Cousin?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's basically what I said. So that's good, Seth. I appreciate your supporting that.
Hey, so David,
Yeah.
so I used to be a food runner,
Yeah.
and and what I could never stand about it was wading my way through crowds of drunk people and people stopping me, and the things that they would say to me would just be illogical and ridiculous. And I know that you bar back, and you're moving through the same crowds of people, and I want to know what's the most ridiculous thing that a customer has ever said to you, asked you, done to you.
Oh man.
Because I can think of some highlights of my tenure as a food runner, and I want to know yours.
Oh man. I mean, people ask a load of really simple questions.
You ever been touched by a customer?
Yeah. I don't like that.
Yeah, dude.
I don't like that. But that does happen. Sometimes there was this one lady, she was like, "Hey, come here." It was really crowded and she was sitting at a table. She's like, "Come here, come here, come here." And she grabs my face and pulls me to the table. She looks to her friend. She's like, "Look at him." And I was so shocked I didn't say anything. I was like, "Oh my God, what is this lady doing?" I could not believe it. And then that was just it. And then she let my face go, and I was like, okay, I was just done for the day. I was like, I'm
She
out.
wanted to kiss you.
Nah,
Dude,
man, she was weird.
Some lady punched me in the penis the other day, fucking right in the noggin. Penis
Hard?
was. No, she just it was on St. Patty's Day, and she was doing a little dance. You know what I mean? Her hands were going everywhere and punched me right in the dick, and it hurt really bad.
Oh man, she did you wrong, bro.
I had a girl come up and twerk on me one time.
Hey, that's a great
I was
thing.
at work, and I
Right.
was like, this was right when I started working downtown. But I was like, okay, off of me, Becky.
What, she grabbed you? She got you?
No, she backed that thing up, dude, and then proceeded to twerk. And it, I like ladies, but I don't like
Did the twerk do the work for you?
No, it
Yeah,
didn't,
with
because
the
I was
singer.
like, I mean, she was a beautiful young lady. Don't get me wrong, but that was just, not the
Unwanted
way I
advance-
would. It's not the way I'd like a nice lady like that to display
Yeah,
herself.
I mean-
you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be, what do you say that sexist or anything? But I think that's just rude. You know what I mean?
wanna
I don't
go-
walk up and just start twerking on girls.
Yeah, you want to know
Come on,
that
man.
the twerk is coming.
You're a beautiful girl. I don't care if you twerk, but don't just come twerk on some stranger.
Don't
If
come
you're twerking
twerk
on
on-
me. Who the fuck else are you twerking on?
Yeah.
Something me as a
Well,
random person, bro?
Dude, that just doesn't
Get
make
real,
sense to
dude.
me because you're
I'm scary, dude.
well, yeah, you're not a very good looking guy.
Exactly.
He's
So
not.
if,
know,
He's
fuck,
not.
exactly. So if there's a girl twerking on me just randomly, either A, they were like, hey, find the ugliest dude in here and go twerk on him, or
And-
B,
and
they
you're
were
probably
like,
like,
she
hey,
was
I
like,
didn't-
hey, I'm just a thoughty McThought, and she just decided to come twerk on the big guy.
Yeah,
you
and
know
you're
what I
like-
mean?
You're like, hey, I didn't pay for this.
because I may be
I
ugly.
didn't pay for this.
Dude,
God damn
20
it,
bucks
dude.
or something.
Yeah,
'Cause
dude,
that's the
yeah,
only
no,
way
that's
you would
what she
get first
did.
time.
That's what she did. She charged me on Venmo. She found me. It was fucked
Shut
up.
up. Oh my god.
It was fucked up, man. I'll never do that again. And that's why I don't park my car in garages.
Yeah, that's a real thing. That's a real thing happening right now.
That is. Hey, David,
Twerking girls in
you got anything to ask me or Seth? You know, we don't really allow guests to have much input on, you know, where things go with things.
Yeah, we mainly just want to, it's all us.
We want to stronghold the situation and this conversation and, belittle you, but we actually kind of like you. I've taken a liking to you, dude. Do you have anything you want to, bring to us?
Yeah, I want to know when you guys are gonna play some more music.
Well, we play music.
We do. We need a drummer. That's one thing. Don't have one right now.
If we had a drummer, things would progress. I mean, we've been writing a lot of music. We've just been on the MacBook, just tracking things out, which is, good. It's a different way than I'm used to writing, because I'm used to writing, like you said, Sweettalker does.
Dude, David, we're writing
bringing an idea and kind of building that song.
Mm-hmm.
We're
But,
writing a fucking rock opera, man.
We are. We've got
A
like
rock opera?
5 tracks in the bag.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
A rock opera, huh?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we're calling it a rock opera. It's more of a compilation of 10 tracks that, are letting us express ourselves
It's
creatively
an
right
excuse
now,
to write music,
basically.
honestly.
Well, that is a great cause.
Yeah. At the end of this, we'll give you a little sneak peek to some of it.
I'm into that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, man, like, how do I put it? Like, it's better to have an excuse to write a song, even if it's like a fucking dumb idea. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna write a song about a fucking turtle.
It's everything. It's like going to the gym to work out, because it's like you're conditioning yourself, you're strengthening yourself, you're working, you're practicing your craft. You know what I mean?
Right.
Honing it. Yeah. And I think, honestly, realistically, when are we going to play some more music in a live setting? If we finish this rock opera and get the 10 songs down, I think we could, if we have it all there, we could find a drummer or a keyboard player to come in with us and, fill out a band and be like, hey, this is what we're doing. I think that's probably the soonest we'll be playing in a live setting, realistically, if going down the path we're going right now.
Yeah, I mean, if it turns into something else, and we figure something else out, but for right now, being productive and just fucking doing that.
Yeah, because I feel like if you have a product, like if we were to have, these songs done and we went and found somebody that was on board to come play that in some show settings, and we put it out there, people would be like, oh, that's cool. I'll hop in and, let's play some music and, do some new shit. You're going to find people more willing to play with you, especially in Nashville. It's a different place. If you lived in bumfuck Iowa, anybody you found up there that was like, yeah, dude, I play bass, you'd be like, dude, fucking come play bass, because there ain't nobody around here that plays fucking bass except you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Here in Nashville, there's a million different projects that anybody could get involved in. So when
Right.
you start looking, hey, man, you just want to come play drums for this? They're like, yeah, but, Joe Blow will pay me $200 on this night if I just go play these covers down on Broadway.
Right.
And that's appealing to a lot of people, especially that move here from
Yeah.
somewhere else, and they're like, oh, I'm going
course.
to move to Nashville
Well,
to do something with music, and they're like, well, I got to make some money with this somehow, or feel like I'm actually doing something.
Right. Well, yeah, you got to feel like there's got to be some sort of manifestation of, there's got to be some, thing that you can say that you're getting from it, right? So, for me, it's just making the thing, right? It's I want to make more things. I'm getting better at doing it more prolifically, you know. But some people are like, some people's dream is I want to make money from music. I want to be able to pay my bills, and okay, so I just play this here instrument and you're going to give me cash. Well, that's a quick exchange, that's one step closer to the dream, right? It's well, I'm doing the right thing because I'm starting to monetize my skills and my talent, but maybe it's not quite in the way that you had imagined it, right? But
I don't think it ever will be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't, it's not going to be perfect. It's going to happen the way it happens, and you kind of got,
I just enjoy making stuff creatively, whether it's, and that's why we did this podcast. We stopped playing with our group. We started writing music on the computer and just, writing songs that way. And we're like, what else can we do to be creative and put out some sort of something?
Yeah.
Have a podcast with all our buddies that do music and do, cool shit.
Yep.
Have them come on, talk about stuff. Like earlier, I was making this stupid overdub videos and stuff. Just any kind of content, just doing something.
Yeah,
You know
you
what I
gotta
mean?
keep that mind going.
Yeah.
It's I mean, I would argue that. I mean, that's basically the only thing that's really relevant nowadays. I mean, people say, but you see so many people like say you got to go on tour, you got to do all this, and I say the other thing. I say, no, you just have to make stuff. You have to keep making, like, just make one record and then start making the next one immediately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like okay, I did it. It's out. It's done. I'm moving on. You know what I mean? And making that the show, making that I'm going on tour, making like just the content creation is the dream. I'm creating a thing and then like it's good.
Yeah.
And I want to make it better, you know.
And that's harder said than that's a full-time job, because you see like YouTube creators and all sorts of stuff to be able to, because to stay relevant, you need to be putting out, I mean, at minimum one time a week, at best multiple times a week of quality content.
Well,
you know what I mean?
that's how, I mean, if you can get your process up to that level, but
It's not
And that's
all
a
gonna be
full
good.
time
That's like
job.
saying-
That's something.
that's like
that's
saying-
hard, dude. That's a lot of time to put in.
well, it's someone who has perfected their craft and has really, because at first they didn't just start off making videos once a week. Maybe they did, but the videos weren't as good, or they weren't able to deliver, or maybe some people were making videos once a month because they were still just trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And it took a while for it to make sense, because then one day they started getting a paycheck and they're like, wait a second, I can do this more and it can be more money. You know, so
Yeah.
one thing leads to another. It's just you can never look. You know, when you're tasked with eating an elephant, you know they say, well, how do you even eat an elephant? It's one bite at a time. You just focus on the first bite. Like, don't think of it as like I have to attain these unattainable goals and I have to change my person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, the act of doing it is like what's biggest for me. Like
Exactly.
just doing it and being like, having a day where you're like, oh, well, I didn't make, a masterpiece today, but I'm still going to do it next week. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. You never hit a home run if you're not stepping up to bat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like 10, like honestly 9, or what is it? So if you make 10 songs or 10 whatever, it's 10 paintings, whatever you're doing, and I think one of them clicks, you know what I mean? Out of 10. And that's, if you're doing it once a week, that's 10 weeks, which sucks, but like, you get one good one out of it, I think. Unless you're like Prince or something like that.
Or you do 100 in that week or that month, and then you get 10 good ones.
Yeah, just the act of doing it. You have to like constantly do it, I feel,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you should just want to. You should just make it part of your daily routine. Like, it's not something that you feel like you should do all the time. It's just something that you should do every day. You know what I mean? Unless it's like your career, But if it's like if you're working a job
Yeah.
and you're working a job to pay for your records, it's like, okay, well, my only obligation is to pick up the guitar once a day to do something, to try for as long as I can. But, if some days you're just empty and some days you're full of songs,
Yeah. I guess if you want to succeed, that's like a good plan. I always look at it that way. I have to, otherwise I'll be like, no,
Well, you
I'm
have
just
to,
gonna work at Sitco for the rest of my life.
right. Well, you got to be in it for the right reasons. It's like, okay, so what, you can't really hope to just win the lottery kind of thing. You got to be like, well, what do I really want to do? Because there's easier ways to be rich. There's easier ways to get famous. Like if that's really what you're after, then I'm not saying that's what you're after, but I'm saying in general, like if that's what you're after, do something else.
Right.
But if you think music is cool, then make music and pay your bills however you can. And then, but know that like, okay, so my life is, if I'm making my life about music, then I just need to make music, and that needs to be it. And it doesn't need to be focused around like where I am in life and how much money do I make from it. Like certainly you should try and make money from it, because you should definitely just aim to try and do it full time if you really do love it. But
Yeah.
it's like you get better at the things that you can get better at, and you keep learning new things and you keep working forward. But don't be discouraged by the fact that, like, you know, it doesn't make money. Just make music, you know, just do it and get better and move forward every day. You know, don't think about the fact that, oh, well, I'm not like where I'd like to be. That's a stupid thought. That's a waste of time, you know?
True. I think that's why we're making a rock opera right now.
Well, that's awful sweet. Well, David, if music doesn't work out for you, I think you've got a promising career ahead of you as a key holder at an H.H. Gregg. So won't you let the people know where they can find your band, your personal stuff, plug everything, let them know where they can find your stuff, David.
You can find us on Sweettalker at SWTTLKR. It's Sweettalker without any vowels. Same thing for Facebook, facebook.com/SWTTLKR.
Sweettalker.
We're on, yeah. And if you type in Sweettalker, one word, on Spotify, you can find us. We're there too. Apple Music, same thing. Anyway,
I'm
we
just
try to
gonna
put
say,
it everywhere we can. YouTube too.
listen to Black Magic. That's my favorite song.
That's a sweet song.
Dude, your guys, I mean, you're fucking good, dude.
Yeah, you guys.
Man,
we
thanks.
didn't touch on that, but you guys definitely kill it live. I've seen you a few times, and y'all fucking get it, dude. You're a tight band.
I'm not
with
just
a tight
saying that
sound.
because we're recording this. Like, you guys are fucking.
No, you legitimately are. I've paid
Aw.
money to go see you play.
Yeah.
You know
Thanks,
what I mean?
guys.
Yeah,
Use
I
dollars
have
to-
your T-shirt, dude. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Dude,
Well-
I'm excited about the new stuff, man. I think it's gonna be next level for us, you know.
Well, everybody listening, Mom, you know, go check out David's band. Check out his new music coming out. Seth, you know, I fucking love you, dude. I had my fingers crossed.
Hey, thanks, man.
Hey, Dale, why don't you do what you do best, man?
Do it, Dale.
Well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
That was a fun cast. Dude, every time it gets more fun.